Another point on the board, people. My sister told me that the I'm here line in Bambi 2 is strangely similar to what Littlefoot's mother says as she dies.
I'll be with you, even if you can't see me. I'm always with you, even when you can't see me.
I'm not sure if Disney copied off of Land Before Time, judging by the gap between both films, but it's something I couldn't ignore. Anyways, let's talk about the Chip movie. So Disney kind of went overboard in the 2000s and decided to make a Cinderella sequel.
Two in mine, actually.
Both of which have had a mixed bag of reviews, and after a decade and a half, they're each an example of Disney's good sequels, and Disney's, oh my god, what the hell did you just track into the house kind of sequels. Cinderella 2, Dreams Come True was released in 2002, the year I was born. All the actors and actresses from the first movie had been replaced, and the replacements would later reprise their roles in the sequel following this, which we'll get to that later. Because right now, we're going to talk about the plot synopsis and release the horror within. The movie starts off at the castle from the first movie. Jock, voiced by Rob Paulsen, and Gus, voiced by Corey Burton, are on their way to the fairy godmother who's reading the mice a story. But as they enter the room, the fairy godmother, voiced by Lucy Taylor, just finished the book, meaning that they missed it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gus, but that's the only Cinderella book there is.
Just like any kindergarten atmosphere, the mice decide to create a story of their own. Their first story takes place straight after Cinderella and Henry come back from their honeymoon, kind of like the opening in Shrek 2. Cinderella is voiced by Jennifer Hale, and Henry is voiced by Christopher Daniel Barnes, actually having more dialogue than the previous. Oh wait, he's in and out like after 1 minute. Having no royalty experience ever, Cinderella has to be taught and prepared by this new character, Prudence, voiced by Holland Taylor, along with these Sleeping Beauty fairy ripoffs, Beatrice and Daphne. So after being forced to be someone else, Cinderella decides to be herself and the king likes it. Boom, next story. Second story is about Jacques feeling all alone since Cinderella has so many human friends. Fairy godmother turns him into a human and Jacques learns that being big is just as trouble as being small, and that he'll always be her best friend. Really short and nothing much. Story 3. This one actually has Tremaine and her daughters. Should be good, right? Kind of. Like the last two stories, the castle is throwing a party. Lady Tremaine is voiced by Suzanne Blakesley, the same actress who played Wanda from Fairly OddParents, the evil queen in Shrek the Third, and Mrs. Forcible in Coraline. Tremaine is wanting to go to the party to get her daughters hooked up with a wealthy guy. Drizella, voiced by Lucy Taylor, is all up for it, but uh-oh, Anastasia, voiced by Tress MacNeille, has fallen in love with the town baker, and her mother disapproves it. Cinderella decides to help her learn about true love as the mice pull a Tom and Jerry by trying to get Lucifer hooked up with Pom Pom. Yeah, somehow Lucifer survived that fall. Might have landed on a giant trampoline. Lucifer's relationship fails, but Anastasia's works out. The story is over and the mice show their book to Cinderella so she can read it. But doing the smart thing, Cinderella throws it away so that no one can be turned to stone from its presence. And for good measure, Riz burns it. The end. So let's talk about the movie. Dear God help me. I think I'm going to start with the positives first, since there's very few. Yeah, it's that bad. I like it that Anastasia has shown a good side, as well as Drizella, which was very brief. Okay, what else? I like the coloring. I like the village. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's all I have, which is such a shame to be honest. You'd think that there would be more good that comes from watching Cinderella 2, but no, it's just a pile of kitty litter that completely destroyed the characters I love. Remember when I said that Cinderella was kind yet wasn't going to take the punch from anybody? Well, now she's just kind with lots of Snow White-like traits. I also noticed that she kisses a lot. Just, please, stop. Get some help. I thought that we'd get more scenes of Prince Henry, but no, he's more absent than he is in the first movie. The mice are talking way more than they used to, and I don't like it. They're actually speaking better English. Oh yeah, and the king is a literal child in this movie. I don't really care too much about these three new characters, they're just boring. You know what, this entire movie is boring. The three stories feel like Disney Junior episodes, and as I said, you kind of get this kindergartenish feeling, which makes me actually believe that it's for children. Having a movie with a few episode-like stories just doesn't work. Like Tarzan and Jane, Atlantis, Return of Milo, and Kronk's New Groove. Okay, that last one was an unfair example. At least its short stories actually serve the plot. Oh yeah, and 3 out of 4 songs aren't sung by any of the characters, but sung by Brooke Allison. I mean, this is Cinderella. To not have any of the characters sing a Disney song is just... I'm sorry, I should probably stop before my head explodes. So yeah, Cinderella 2. Very boring, lacks the sparkle of the original, and sort of has a Belle's Magical World vibe to the story. 3 out of 10, put it on for your kids, but not for yourself. I'm honestly gonna need severe therapy from this. At least I got this movie done and over with, and there shouldn't be any Disney sequel that's worse than this movie, right?